Hey everybody. So I thought since it's Valentine's Day, this might be a good time to review a movie that God, my hair's doing the weird thing again. Okay. It's going up and then this something has to be I'm sorry. I should have given myself the Valentine's Day present of a haircut because the hair is just out of control. Although my grandmother did compliment it earlier this evening, but regardless of that, it's like feathered. It's like feathered. It's like I have some sort of rare bird on my head. I can't. Anyway, thought this might be a good time to do a review of the movie The Vow, which Adam and I saw last night. Seemed appropriate for Valentine's Day. I'm not gonna lie and say I didn't think it was enjoyable. I thought it was okay. It was the kind of movie that like you should watch on like a Sunday afternoon if you don't have anything to do while you're like goofing around on Facebook and or vacuuming your apartment. It's like a great background noise movie, I would think. But under the scrutiny of people sitting in a theater doing nothing but focusing on this movie, um, it didn't really hold up so well. So first off, it's basically a hipster love story, which is not something they really played up in the trailer. Or I wouldn't have gone to see it because you know that I have incredibly strong appealing feelings about hipsters. Appealings, opinions, and feelings. I have appealings about hipsters. Um, so it's a hipster love story. Also, if they were going to do a hipster love story, why would you get Rachel McAdams, who couldn't possibly be any less hipster, although that comes into play later, but anyways, couldn't be any less hipster, and Channing Tatum? To make her hipster in the beginning of the movie, they give her the worst wig I have ever seen put on anyone, ever. She looked so bad. I thought at first that the movie was going to be about, like, some poor girl who like has to go through chemo and loses her hair and then can't afford a nice wig because it was that bad. I mean, I'm not making it was terrible. And that was like in the flashback section of the movie, and so I started like praying for the non-flashbacks where she would have normal hair. She had terrible. And apparently whoever made this movie thinks that all hipster girls have short, unwashed, poorly styled hair. And I will say this for the hipster girls. I have seen hipster girls with some pretty awesome hair. Um, Channing Tatum is just not a hipster. If you wanted a hipster guy, you should go get Joseph Gordon-Levitt or even like Shia LaBeouf. But like, don't. He's not. Channing Tatum is not a hipster. He's like the epitome of like football jock guy. And then they don't even. And then they have him own a recording studio where he like records hip hop albums, but he's supposed to be a hipster. I don't even. Okay. Um, so they get into a car accident. There might be some spoiler alerts, and I'm not gonna say this is a movie you should never watch. So if you don't want to hear the spoiler alerts, then I'll go like this when there are gonna be spoiler alerts, and you can look away or go like this. Anyway, so they get into a car accident. This happens within the first 5 seconds, and it's in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler alert. They get into a car accident. She loses her memory, and she reverts back before she was a hipster, back to when she was a wasp in law school, and it's so like perfectly cut how she was this like law school student and then like there was something happened and she became a total hipster sculptor artist, and it's like of course like night and day. She wasn't anything like she was before 5 years ago. And Scott Speedman plays the guy that she was engaged to before dating Channing Tatum, um, because of the opposite of Channing Tatum is Scott Speedman, obviously. I can't really watch movies with Scott Speedman in them without thinking about Kerry Russell chasing him to NYU. Felicity, anyone? So that's always why I've avoided the um, vampire underworld movies that he's in. Anyway, so she gets into this accident. She wakes up. Now, a lot of people who wake up and find out that Channing Tatum is their husband would be like, "Thank you." She is very like doubtful, and she is Rachel McAdams. She's prettier than he is handsome. I'll say that. Although she's getting a little. Like they build this as like Rachel McAdams from The Notebook, and the thing is, Rachel McAdams is getting. I don't want to say old, but she's older, and Channing Tatum has this baby face. Like he doesn't age, so he kind of needs to be perpetually matched up with like whatever 18-year-old Hollywood starlet there is of the moment, and she needs to be patched up with like matched up with I don't know, maybe like like Scott Speedman, So it kind of made me feel like I was watching Cougar Town, uh, which isn't even about cougars anymore, but still. So she wakes up and Channing Tatum is dying to win her love, and she's kind of like, I don't know. And I also like that at no point does she ever just come right out and say, but hey, it's cool that I woke up and had a hot husband. No, 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 because that would be shallow. Even though that's what most women would say. Most women would wake up and find out that they had Channing Tatum as their husband and that he's like a really good husband who owns a recording studio and they have a beautiful like loft slash studio in Chicago. And so she has to have these like rich waspy parents who have even more money and even nicer surroundings because otherwise she would just be like, oh wow, this is awesome. I'm married to Channing Tatum. I'm an artist who gets to just do art all day and I have an amazing like loft space in Chicago that Channing Tatum pays the rent for. I mean, like put me in a coma now and wake me up and have me have that be my case. Um, but her hair is better. Her hair is better post coma. Um, and apparently it was good during the law school years. So Channing Tatum tries to win her back and doesn't work, and she like, spoiler alert, she doesn't get her memory back. But she sort of becomes the person that she was, like this sort of balance. Sam Neill and Jessica Lange play her parents. Jessica Lange, holy hell, talk about an American Horror Story. It's one thing to see her on the small screen, but Jessica Lange on a giant screen. There's one scene where she's like touching. It's very early on in the hospital bed. She's just touching Rachel McAdams, and her hands. Oh my goodness! I'm not trying to be me. I know she's older, but oh my goodness. Maybe Nora Ephron talks about I feel bad about my neck. No, you feel bad about your hands, Jessica Lange. Your hands. Was she an immigrant farm worker at some point? I mean, what happened to the? Oh my goodness. And I mean, she's had plastic surgery. And I always think it's interesting about plastic surgery is when the face is like perfect and then the neck it's like from here up is like 50 and from here down it's like 73. The neck, Nora Ephron. Anyway, so they have like their moments, Sam Neill and Jessica Lange. They're both incredibly creepy. They're the creepiest couple I've ever seen. Why Rachel McAdams at one point chooses to like go home and stay with them. I wouldn't be alone in a house with those two if you paid me. They scare the living crap out of me, the two of them. I was expecting there to be a subplot about how they've killed hookers since she's been in the coma. Anyway, she doesn't get her memory back, but she sort of decides that she does like Channing Tatum, and they kind of start from scratch. And then my favorite part is at the end. It goes, the couple who inspired this story and are now married with two kids, and they show you the couple, and of course they look not nearly as good, and probably never did as Channing Tatum and Rachel McAdams. Although I'm always compelled to like go on Wikipedia when I see something like that and find out just how true the story was. Um, they probably were both, immigrant farm workers, much like Jessica Lange was probably at one point. Anyway, so that's The Vow. It's a nice movie. You do get to see Channing Tatum's backside, and I mean that's worth the price of a ticket on Bargain Tuesday. I'll say that much. So yeah, happy Valentine's Day, everyone.